What is something that non-legal, everyday Americans who just don't like the way things are headed, but don't have a legal background, what's something that we can do to help support a vibrant rule of law in this country?
Sure. The first thing is to be curious. Find out why our system, in other words, identify all the questions that you have. The questions that you say, well, why is this the case? Or why shouldn't it be some other way? Or why shouldn't we be upset if this happens? Write down those questions, that the ones that are most concern you. And then see if there's a lawyer or a law professor or someone who is in the legal, understands the legal community, that will engage with you, listen to your criticisms, because we're not saying our system is perfect or that our system couldn't be improved, but would be available to be able to listen respectfully to what your concerns are and have a dialogue to be able to respond to those and explain how the system operates and can be made available. Now, where can you find that? There's lots of places that you can do that. There are lots of actual organizations where there are very short little 60 to 90 second blurbs that sort of talk about some of these things. I was involved in a program at the Judicial Institute at Duke Law School, where we were able to go and speak with over 1,600 employees from a very large corporation that wanted to encourage their employees to have a better understanding about their own government, and had nonpartisan sessions at lunchtime where they could listen to information and ask questions. We did 4 sessions, an hour each, 4 different weeks in a row. There were wonderful questions that were asked by the members of the audience that we responded to. And then afterwards, we polled them to try and find out from them how helpful they thought that was. And what we learned is that overwhelmingly, they thought that they understood the system better, that they had a better appreciation for why it operated the way it did, why it was important, and most importantly, why it was important even to them individually, themselves and their families.
Judge, last question. We are on the eve of America's 250th birthday. What birthday message, either one of optimism or of caution, do you have on this anniversary?
My tone of optimism is this. One of the greatest challenges that we face right now as a people is that the emphasis of too many in positions of public importance and power has been to focus on what divides us as a nation rather than what unites us as a nation. If you sit and meet with ordinary Americans anywhere in the United States, and I've had the privilege of living and working all over the United States, I don't care whether I'm in the north, the south, the east, or the west, when you sit and you meet with other individuals in the United States, people have an inherent appreciation. They want fairness, they want transparency, they want dignity, they want to be respected. And we see it whenever there's a national crisis, when people rush to try to help their neighbors, or when they give money, when there's been a fire or a hurricane or something of that nature. Americans at the root basis have a gut sense of what's fair, of what's decent, of wanting to be treated the way, of the importance of treating others the way you would like to be treated by yourself. And when you focus on what unites us as a people, and you help to explain we live in a complicated world, we understand that people disagree about many things, but there is a way of disagreeing without being disagreeable. When you engage respectfully members of the American public, no matter what their political orientation is or what part of the country they live in, when you listen as much or more than you try to communicate, so that you can hear them and understand their perspective. And when you speak respectfully, I believe that the American people are what make this country great. Because remember, what is our origin? By the people, of the people, and for the people. Our government flows from the power that the people gave to the government, and the government has an obligation to be faithful to that. And I would hope that, inspired by the story of what we have had for the last 250 years, that we should focus as much on or more on what unites us and brings us together as one people, and that we can disagree. That is fine. That has always been fine. But we do it with a degree of understanding to understand the position of the other side, not try to bludgeon them into accepting our point, but to help have a dialogue so that each side understands the other better. And that is my hope for the future. And that where we concentrate on that, I would like to see the people take back their government. And what I mean by that is take back the desire to understand how it works, hold their elected officials accountable for achieving the goals that this country has always stood for, and listen in a way that is able to be respectful of those that they disagree with. And you can capture that by, in these conversations, being respectful and trying to generate light, don't generate heat.